Hey, Zane here. So, guess what, guys? We live in a great culture. We live in a great world, Western culture. We got everything we need. Our biggest threat, I mean, there's no more predators, right? No predators, no famine, no plague. Our biggest threat to our lives is us. It's our lifestyles. It's the choices we make. Now, you can say it's scary. Those diseases are horrible. Nobody wants them. They're not. They are cutting us shorter than our life shorter than we should be living, and they make the end of our lives very unpleasant. Okay, to say the least. They're terrible diseases, but we can delay them or prevent them with the choices we make. So the choices we make are bringing those on, and they're bringing them on earlier and earlier. It seems. The biggest one. There's several factors, but the biggest one being. One of the biggest would be our way we eat. Okay, so two big ones I'd say: sleep and eating. And with eating, I mean, we make that choice every day. What we put in our mouth has a huge effect on how we live and the diseases that we end up getting as we age. Right? How well we age. So elevated blood sugars really are responsible for many of the biggest most difficult diseases to overcome, like diabetes, heart disease, stroke, basic cardiovascular disease. And if you have, according to the American College of Cardiologists, if you have diabetes, you have the same risk of having a heart attack as if you'd already had a heart attack. So basically diabetes, existing heart disease, same level of risk, according to the American College of Cardiologists. Why? Because elevated sugar, okay, so sugar in our system is toxic. Every time we eat, basically when we eat, insulin goes up to remove sugar from our bloodstream, right? Because above a certain level is toxic to our system. It has to get out. The dose is in, or the toxicity is in the dose, okay? So a certain level is fine. Above that level, and that'll happen anytime we eat just about any amount, significant amount of food. It's going to go up and remove that and shuttle it away to muscles and fat cells, okay? That's going to happen every single time we eat. So when it's elevated frequently or elevated for a long period of time from eating a lot of starch and sugar or eating on a frequent basis, then we get inflammation in those blood vessels. And the inflammation makes the lining of those blood vessels porous, more porous. Think of a scrape on your hand. It's a little more irritated, red, maybe a little tacky, a little sticky. And it's very sensitive, right? When you touch that part as opposed to another part, it's very sensitive, okay? So that makes the same thing on the inside of those blood vessels. From that sugar and the insulin impact coming through there, it's more irritated and it's more porous, which means when it's porous, like the small, dense cholesterol, which is supposed to be in our system. We have different sizes of cholesterol, large, fluffy, small, dense. They all have a purpose. They all serve a purpose in our body. Our liver creates those for a reason, for transporting fuel. But when you have an irritated blood vessel, those small, dense, what they call VLDL, the small, dense cholesterol particles, get stuck in those pores while our body is trying to heal. Now, the healing process takes place. We have collagen there, building those blood vessels back up, but in the process, some cholesterol gets stuck in there, builds up the plaques. Okay, so it narrows the arteries, and then every once in a while those plaques, so one of those pieces of plaque will break loose. Our immune system will attack it, blood cells, red blood cells attack it, create a blood clot around it. That clot hits a narrow part of an artery, we have a heart attack. Okay, not to mention that you have plaques building up in the cardiovascular system throughout your entire body, affecting, well, that's your cardiovascular disease, right? It affects your whole body, brain, even sexual function. Okay, blood vessels go everywhere, right? Our ability to move, to function with energy. Those plaques are all over our bodies through the blood vessels. So this sugar is affecting our whole body, not just the heart, and not just whether or not you can create insulin. So some of the biggest diseases and problems we face come from frequently elevated blood sugar. So what can we do? How can we make some changes to alleviate that and bring us back to where we don't have those consistent problems, right? We're not making it worse. Two main things can happen. One, a lower carb diet. Okay, so eating fewer starches, and sugars. More veggies, more protein, healthy fats, fewer carbs, keeps the blood sugar low initially. It's going to go up a little bit when you eat anyway, no matter what you eat. Protein elevates blood sugar and releases insulin, okay? It's just part of it. But if you have less sugar and starch, it's going to go up less, so blood sugar won't be as high, insulin won't be as elevated, and it will come down a lot quicker. Come back down to normal levels much sooner, so it spends less time in the elevated state. The other thing is, eat less often. So 3 meals a day, which is, was pretty standard in the 50s and before that. Okay, pretty typical, 3 meals a day, no snacking between meals, stay busy, go do something else, be active. But this whole idea of eating every 2 or 3 hours, eating 5 or 6 times a day, is actually killing us. It's not helping us, okay? It's killing us because it's keeping blood sugar elevated. Most of us, we're not professional athletes. We're not working out 2 or 3 times a day. We're not spending 3 or 4 hours a day in the gym or on a field somewhere training for a sport. We're working. We're taking care of kids. If you have kids, we're just living our lives, okay? We're not at an intense level of output, okay, for several hours a day. Most of us. That's just not the case. So we don't need constant feeding. We need 3 meals, no snacks. So there's more time when blood sugar is low and normal levels, like between dinner and breakfast overnight, and between breakfast and lunch and dinner with 4 or 5 hour gaps between those meals. When blood sugar is normal, our body can heal. Okay, body can access fat stores and burn that instead of trying to burn sugar all the time. So very simple, lower carb diet, fewer meals. 3 meals, no snacks will make a huge impact on decreasing the effects of blood sugar. Well, it'll decrease your blood sugar, which means decrease the negative effects of blood sugar on our blood vessels. So 2 things you can do right there to reduce your risk of diabetes and heart disease. If you have any questions about this, of course, place it in the comments below. If you'd like to hear more of this kind of information, I have a free group called Food Comes First. Happy for you to join us. I post videos about this, topics like this, a healthier lifestyle and weight loss all the time. So just comment below, put a little something below, say I want to join the group, or Food Comes First, or how do I join? I'll send you a link, and you can see more of this kind of stuff for free. Free group called Food Comes First. Talk to you later.